Good Friday morning, everyone. Welcome back to Weather with Sim again. I hope you guys are all having a great day so far. And in today's weather forecast, we are going to be going over a huge weather pattern change that looks to be coming to the United States as we head from late November. We will definitely be going over that as, like I said, we are expecting a huge pattern change to be coming through as we head into late November. But before that happens, we also will be going over what we can expect for the next few days, as we will still continue to watch this storm system still bring that potential for some severe weather down there in Texas, but also still continue to bring that risk for flash flooding even as it continues into Dixie Alley. So make sure to stay tuned till the end so that way you guys know about this huge weather pattern change that's going to be coming. But also don't forget to subscribe, like, and as well as leave any questions, comments, or concerns that you have down below. I will get to those right after today's weather forecast, so feel free to leave anything down below as long as it's respectful. But let's first go ahead and take a look at the tropics. And as you guys can see, we currently still have Rafeal still hanging around there, which doesn't really seem to be impacting any land. This is more than likely still going to be going down there towards Mexico, as models are still indicating that. So we will continue to watch that area very closely, as Rafeal, may still bring a little bit of impacts down there in Mexico. But from what we know so far, it does not look like Rafeal will be bringing impacts to Mexico at all, as it is going to kind of be spinning around like this and then heading right back down there towards Mexico again. So it does remain uncertain on what's going to happen, but the reason why the National Hurricane Center thinks this is because we'll have a huge front moving on through like this. Plus, this storm will also be interacting with a lot of dry air, as you guys can see. So this is pretty much, what it's going to be as we head into next week, right before, it goes down there towards Mexico. And it's pretty much just going to be, kind of doing this thing and then heading right back down there. And as it does, it will be interacting with a lot of dry air, which probably means that this system will probably be dying down before it even gets down there. But there's still a chance this thing could still bring a little bit of rainfall to these areas, but I don't even think this area is gonna even be a tropical depression by the time it reaches dry air. So we will continue to watch it closely, like I said, but nothing really too concerning with this, as this will more than likely die down to either tropical depression or just a little bit of a rainstorm. But that's really all we're expecting by this point, as the system will be interacting with a lot of dry air. So nothing to worry about if you live in the United States, but maybe be paying attention a little bit if you do live down there towards Mexico. Let's now go ahead and look at the severe weather and as well as the flooding threat for the next few days, starting off with the severe weather for today, as we currently still have a slight risk for severe weather down here in Texas. And why I'm saying a slight risk is because I wouldn't be surprised if they did issue a slight risk down here in Texas, as conditions will be very favorable. But it may also just stay marginal, as some models just show marginal. But I'm just saying that I would not be surprised at all to see this upgrade to a slight risk for either damaging wind or large hail. So we will continue to watch today closely, as we also do have that risk for a couple of brief tornadoes down here in Texas. So that is going to be an area to watch for, as it also does include the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We also do have that risk for some isolated damaging winds, and we also do have that risk for some isolated large hail too as well. So make sure to be covering cars, protecting your vehicles, bringing pets inside, and of course securing your objects today, as we could, like I said, see some isolated wind and hail. But also make sure to have your tornado action plan in place, just in case, if you do live across the Dallas-Fort Worth area, or even areas back down near Austin, or even parts there of central Texas. Let's now go ahead and take a look at as we head into tomorrow, and I'm just showing you guys this to tell you guys that that storm system is going to die down a lot, which still isn't expected to bring severe weather across areas in the Midwest down there towards the Dixie Alley area, which is good news because, we have been dealing with quite a bit of rain and storms across this area, but we will continue to keep an eye on it closely as, I would not rule out a marginal risk at all somewhere in this area, but I definitely don't think it's going to be that bad though, so we will continue to watch it closely as we head into tomorrow, but it doesn't look like anything too concerning by this point, so we will really just need to worry about some thunder, and that's really all for tomorrow. But if we now go ahead and look at the flash flood threat for the next few days, as you guys can see, we do have a slight risk for excessive rainfall and flooding for today, which does include most of Oklahoma into southern Kansas, but also a pretty good portion there of northern and central Texas today. So, if you're not under the gun for severe weather, you should still be on high alert for flash flooding, especially if you live in Oklahoma and Kansas. Those are the two areas that will mainly be at risk for thunder, not necessarily severe weather, as that marginal risk is more down in this area for today. So, like I said, even if you're not under the risk for severe weather, you should still be on very high alert, as we could still be seeing, some flooded roadways, and, we could even be seeing that potential for up to 3-4 inches of rainfall in some areas. So make sure to continue to, be on high alert if you live in any of this yellow color, as once again, even though you may not be at risk for severe weather, you will, be at risk for some flash flooding, and I want you guys to be on high alert for that. And of course, take those flooding safety rules seriously, as turn around, don't drown when encountering flooded roadways is not worth risking. Same goes as we head into tomorrow. We continue to see that slight risk persist across parts there of Southeast Texas, all the way back up there into the lower Ohio Valley as we head into tomorrow. So we will continue to keep an eye on that area very closely, as once again, even if we don't see a lot of rainfall, we still could be seeing some flooding, as a lot of these areas still continue to have that saturated soil. So we will continue to watch this area very closely, including western Tennessee, northern Mississippi, and to central Mississippi, parts there of northern and central Louisiana, which once again does look to be the areas to watch the closest, as we will have that potential for flash flooding even if we don't see a ton of rainfall. Let's now go ahead and look at Sunday now. This will be the last day of the weekend, or as we head into the beginning of next week, and as you guys can see, that flood threat will continue as we head into next week across parts there of Dixie Alley all the way up there into the Ohio Valley. So we will need to watch this area closely once again. I don't think this is going to be very concerning. It might be a little bit concerning, as we will also start to see that ramp up across the northwest, but it's really just going to be down here where we might still see a little bit of minor flooding. But like I said, I don't think this is going to be bad at all. So worst case is that we may get a little bit of a 1 to 2 inches of rainfall in some areas, but once again, I don't think this is going to be too crazy, especially because the storm system looks to die down before it even reaches the East Coast. Let's now go ahead and talk about this weather pattern change that looks to be coming over the next several days as we head into the middle of November and as well as the end of November. So, as we pretty much head into the second half of November, we are expecting there to be some more storm systems to watch for, like this one and even one over here across the northwest, as those ones will bring that potential for heavy snowfall as we head near the middle of November. But not only that, as we get into November 15th, we will, continue to see that storm system persist across parts there in New England, but does look to be a little bit more intense, as we will see heavier rain and snowfall across parts of the New England area as we head exactly into the middle of November. But we'll also need to be watching the northwest, as those areas will continue to deal with that snowfall and of course that rainfall around, and we might even see a little bit of flooding. So we will continue to watch the northwest closely too, as well, as things do look to ramp up there, with maybe even another storm system rolling on through as we head into November 18th, with a huge line of potential thunderstorms moving on through, heading from New York all the way back down there into parts of central Texas. So we will continue to watch this storm closely closely as well as we head into November 18th, as this one could definitely cause some pretty big impacts. But as of right now, though, this still does remain a little uncertain. But like I said, we are expecting some huge storm systems to move on through as we are getting ready to see this huge pattern change. So definitely make sure you're paying attention to this. But like I said, it does remain uncertain, so I would probably say take this with a grain of salt. And then after that, if we look at the total rainfall, this is anywhere from now all the way to November 17th. And as you guys can see, we do expect there to be high amounts there across the Northwest, with some pretty widespread amounts of anywhere from, 1 to even as much as 5 inches of rainfall in some of these areas, especially Oklahoma, back into Tennessee. So it's pretty much going to be this corridor right here that will have that highest chance of anywhere from 1 to even as much as 5 inches of rainfall, like I said. But as that storm system, like I said, continues to move towards the east as we head into the beginning of next week, which pretty much include this area right here, not really seeing too much rainfall, but we will still continue to keep an eye on it. Now let's go ahead and talk about some more things that we can expect with this pattern change, because not only are we expecting more storm systems, but we will also be seeing that potential for winter storms, as we currently have one ongoing across parts there of northeast New Mexico, heading into eastern Colorado, all the way back up there towards the Cheyenne area in Wyoming, as a lot of areas are even under blizzard warnings, winter storm warnings. Okay, so this is definitely quite devastating, as some of these areas are likely to even see up to 2 feet of snow. And that's exactly what we're expecting even as we head into November 17th, as this probably won't be the only winter storm to hit this area. Like, we could probably even see more as we head closer to late November. And these areas in eastern Colorado could really see anywhere from a foot to even as much as 2 feet of snow, guys. This is definitely, like I said, gonna be quite devastating, especially because some travel impacts do look to be on the extreme side of things. But even up here in the Cascades could see an obliterating amount of snow, guys. We're talking the potential for up to 38 inches across parts there of western British Columbia, all the way back down into central Oregon, guys. Now, this obviously isn't gonna fall in one day, but for the highest elevations there, we're really talking that potential for maybe even a blizzard. We'll have to see how this plays out, but this is definitely not good news, guys, as winter has not kicked in just yet. We still got another half a month to go before winter really picks up. But I mean, we're also really seeing that potential for some heavy snowfall across New England as we head into November 17th, but also maybe even a little bit of snowfall there across the upper Midwest. So once again, it's pretty crazy how winter is starting to kick in quite early before we even head into December. So we will definitely continue to watch a lot of these areas very closely, as some areas may pick up to 24 inches of snowfall, especially across much of the Four Corners region, heading up there into parts there of the Northwest. So once again, we are going to continue to watch these areas very closely. And not only that, we also do expect there to be extreme travel impacts across parts there of western panhandle of Texas, western panhandle of Oklahoma, eastern Colorado, into parts there of northeast New Mexico for the next 3 days, guys. And like I said, we currently have one ongoing in Colorado and New Mexico with blizzard warnings and winter storm warnings in effect, and that's what we're expecting for the next 3 days. So make sure to be taking this very seriously, as extreme impacts are definitely likely in some of these areas. We even see a little bit of a minor impact up there in New England, but not really seeing anything too concerning though besides this area, as this is really the only winter storm ongoing as of right now. But like I said though, as this weather pattern change change does happen, mid to late November, we're likely going to see more heavy snowfall and extreme winter impacts across this area. And same goes with the Cascades all the way back down there into parts there of Colorado, which will likely be in play with this pattern change for more heavy snowfall, more storms, and maybe even a little bit of severe weather across the Midwest and Ohio Valley. We'll just have to see how these storms plays out, but worst case is that we see severe weather and snowfall at the same time, as some of these storm systems could definitely be like that. But once again, it does remain uncertain, so make sure to take all of this with a grain of salt, besides during the next few days. And then finally, before we end today's weather forecast, I also wanted to let you guys know when we can expect our last cold shot to be, before we head into winter. So our next cold shot looks to be as we head into November 22nd, which once again looks to be in play with this weather pattern change as we head into November 22nd. Okay, this could be when we start to see even more snowfall across much of the eastern United States, but I just, like I said, I just don't think it's going to be exactly like this, as it still is very uncertain by this point. But once again, this is looking to be a time where we will need to watch for maybe a cold shot or two to move on down, and that's also when we'll have the best chance for snowfall across much of the eastern United States, so we will continue to keep an eye on that closely. But thank you guys very much for watching, and I hope you guys did enjoy today's weather forecast. If you guys would like to stay tuned for more weather updates on Weather with Sim, make sure to go down below and click that subscribe button, as we will continue to keep you guys updated with the latest on Weather with Sim, including Rafeal. That looks to be, still continuing, and, of course, we'll keep you guys updated on that if you do live in Mexico, but especially keep an eye on this weather pattern change, as, once again, we're really going to see that potential for heavy snowfall, and even, a lot of rain and flooding start to ramp up as we head into mid-late November. And so make sure to subscribe, as we will continue to keep you guys updated on that. But also, don't forget to leave a thumbs up too as well. Those help out more than you know. Please get this video up there towards 15 likes if possible, so make sure to do that if you haven't already. And of course, make sure to leave any questions, comments, or concerns down below. Like I said, I'll get to those right after today's weather forecast, and I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day, and we will see you in the next one. Goodbye. Ooh.